Have you ever felt that icy grip of betrayal? Not from a stranger, but from the very hands that once held you? That moment when the world tilts, and you realize the people who should protect you are the ones trying to tear you down? Imagine walking into a room, your heart a drum against your ribs, knowing that every single person there, especially your own family, sees you as nothing more than an obstacle, a problem to be solved, a piece of property to be claimed. They look at you with disdain, with a sneer, with an eye roll that cuts deeper than any knife. You're standing on the precipice of losing everything, not to an enemy, but to the ones who shared your blood, your history, your name. But what if, in that moment of utter vulnerability, you held a secret, a truth so profound, so meticulously hidden, that it could not only shatter their carefully constructed lies, but also redefine justice itself? This isn't just a story about a courtroom battle. It's about the quiet strength found in the deepest corners of the soul, about the echoes of a love that transcends time, and about the explosive power of truth when it finally, irrevocably, comes to light. Prepare yourself, because this is a journey into the heart of family, betrayal, and an unexpected triumph that will leave you breathless. The courtroom doors, heavy and imposing, seemed to mock the lightness I craved in my soul. Each step I took across the polished marble floor echoed not just in the cavernous space, but in the hollow chambers of my own chest. My only good suit, a relic from a forgotten past of hopeful job interviews, felt like a costume, ill-fitting and out of place in this arena of calculated cruelty. I could feel their eyes on me, a familiar weight, even before I saw them. My parents, a tableau of polished indifference, occupied the front row, their designer clothes a stark contrast to my humble attire, a silent testament to the chasm that had always existed between us. Beside them, my brother, a smirk already playing on his lips, the golden boy forever basking in the glow of their unwavering approval. It was a scene I had replayed countless times in my nightmares, but never had it felt so chillingly real, so utterly devoid of warmth or recognition. My mother, ever the first to spot me, leaned over to whisper something to my father, her gaze flicking towards me with a practiced dismissiveness. He responded with a slow, deliberate eye roll, a gesture that spoke volumes without uttering a single word. It was a familiar dismissal, a silent declaration that my very presence was an inconvenience, an unwelcome disruption to their carefully curated world. In that moment, the air thickened with unspoken accusations, with years of perceived slights and unfulfilled expectations. Their lawyer, a man whose expensive suit seemed to hum with self-importance, shuffled papers with an air of confident superiority, the kind of assurance that only a hefty retainer can buy. He glanced at me, a fleeting, almost pitying look, as if I were a minor annoyance soon to be swept away. The judge had not yet entered, leaving a tense silence hanging in the air, punctuated only by the rustle of papers and the low murmur of anticipation. Did they truly believe I would simply capitulate? That I would walk in, offer a meek apology, and sign away the last tangible connection I had to the one person who had ever truly seen me? The thought was an insult, a fresh wound on an already scarred heart. They underestimated me, as they always had, mistaking my quiet nature for weakness, my resilience for stubbornness. But beneath the surface of my calm demeanor, a quiet fire burned, fueled by a lifetime of being overlooked, of being deemed less than. This wasn't just about money. It was about dignity, about the legacy of a love that had been my anchor in a sea of indifference. I walked to the defendant's table, each step a deliberate act of defiance, and placed my worn briefcase upon its surface. Inside, 3 folders, meticulously organized, their tabs color-coded with a precision that belied the turmoil raging within me. They had no idea what secrets those folders held, what truths were waiting to be unleashed. They saw a young woman, alone and outmatched, but they failed to see the quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. This wasn't just a legal battle. It was a reckoning, a moment where the past would collide with the present, and the true nature of family would be laid bare for all to see. The stakes were impossibly high, not just for the inheritance, but for the very essence of who I was, and who I was destined to become. Before we delve deeper into the intricate web of deceit and discovery, I want to ask you, right here, right now, have you ever felt the sting of being underestimated? especially by those closest to you. That feeling of being invisible, of having your worth dismissed without a second thought. If you've ever stood firm in the face of overwhelming odds, knowing that your truth was your only shield, then hit that like button. And if you're ready to witness a story where the quietest voice finds its thunder, where betrayal meets an unexpected force, then subscribe to this channel. Because this isn't just my story, it's a testament to the power of the human spirit. A journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about family, loyalty, and the enduring strength of a love that refuses to be silenced. The bailiff's voice, sharp and commanding, cut through the tension. All rise. The judge entered, her presence filling the room with an undeniable authority. I stood, my gaze unwavering, my briefcase a silent promise of the battle to come. To truly grasp the gravity of this moment, to understand the intricate dance of fate and choice that led me here, you need to journey back with me, to the very beginning of a story woven with threads of favoritism, neglect, and a love that defied all expectations. This wasn't an overnight saga. It was a slow burn, a gradual awakening to a truth that would ultimately set me free, but not without a fight that would shake the very foundations of my world. My earliest memories are painted in shades of contrast, a stark dichotomy between my brother's vibrant, sun-drenched existence and my own, often relegated to the shadows. He was the golden child, the undisputed star of our family's narrative, his every achievement celebrated with fanfare and lavish gifts. For his 16th birthday, a brand new car, gleaming under the driveway lights, a symbol of their boundless pride. College, a prestigious university, was paid in full, no questions asked, no expense spared. Then came the down payment on his first condo, a testament to his supposed early success, all orchestrated and funded by my parents' generous hand. Anything he desired, any whim or ambition, was met with an open checkbook and an eager smile. He was their investment, their pride, their perfectly sculpted heir, and his path was paved with effortless luxury, a stark contrast to the rugged terrain I was forced to navigate. My own journey, however, was a different story entirely, a testament to self-reliance born out of necessity. While my brother was charting his course through elite institutions, I was working nights at a local grocery store, the fluorescent lights humming a monotonous tune as I stocked shelves and bagged groceries. Every dollar earned was meticulously saved, a precious contribution towards my community college tuition. It wasn't glamorous, and it certainly wasn't easy, but it was mine, a small victory carved out of sheer determination. From community college, I transferred to a state university, burdened by student loans that felt like an invisible weight on my shoulders, a constant reminder of the financial independence I was forced to forge. My living situation was far from ideal, a cramped basement apartment, shared with 3 roommates and an unwelcome but persistent population of mice that scurried within the walls. It was a humble existence, devoid of the comforts my brother took for granted, but it was an existence that taught me invaluable lessons about grit, perseverance, and the true cost of earning your own way. I wasn't bitter, not truly. There was no room for resentment in my heart, only a quiet understanding that my path was uniquely my own. I learned early on that I was on my own, a realization that, while initially daunting, eventually became a source of profound strength. This self-sufficiency, this quiet resilience, became the bedrock of my character, shaping me into the person I am today. While my parents poured their resources and affections into my brother, I was quietly building my own foundation, brick by painstaking brick. It was a lonely endeavor at times, but it instilled in me a fierce independence and an unwavering belief in my own capabilities. I understood that their love, or lack thereof, was not a reflection of my worth, but rather a reflection of their own biases and priorities. But then there was Grandpa. He was the anomaly, the beacon of unconditional love and unwavering belief in a family landscape often shrouded in shadows. He saw me, truly saw me, in a way no one else ever had. He was the one who showed up at my associate's degree ceremony, a solitary figure beaming with pride in a sea of empty seats where my parents should have been. Every other Sunday, he would take me to lunch, not to a fancy restaurant, but to a cozy diner where the coffee was strong and the conversations were even stronger. He would ask about my classes, not with a perfunctory nod, but with genuine interest, his eyes twinkling with an understanding that transcended words. He saw the fire in my belly, the quiet ambition that simmered beneath my unassuming exterior, and he nurtured it with a gentle wisdom that became my guiding light. "You're the one who will make something of yourself," he told me once, his voice raspy with age but firm with conviction. "Your brother's got charm. You've got grit. Grit lasts longer." Those words, simple yet profound, became my mantra, a powerful affirmation that resonated deep within my soul. He didn't just offer empty platitudes. He offered a vision, a belief in my potential that had been absent from every other corner of my life. He was also the one who instilled in me the invaluable habit of keeping records, a seemingly mundane practice that would later prove to be my salvation. "Save everything," he'd say, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Every letter, every receipt, every email. You never know when you'll need proof." At the time, I dismissed it as an old man's eccentricity, a quaint habit born of a bygone era. I didn't realize he wasn't just being old-fashioned. He was preparing me, meticulously, for a battle I couldn't yet foresee, arming me with the tools I would desperately need to navigate the treacherous waters ahead. His passing left a void that no amount of time could ever truly fill. The lawyer, a somber figure in a dark suit, read the will, his voice a monotone drone against the backdrop of our collective grief. My brother, predictably, inherited the house, a grand estate that had always been the symbol of our family's affluence. My parents received the investment accounts, their faces impassive, betraying no emotion. And me? I received the education fund. It sounded modest, almost an afterthought, a final token gesture. But then the lawyer explained, his voice gaining a subtle inflection, that Grandpa had established it 20 years earlier, seeding it with a foresight that was nothing short of miraculous. It had been compounding ever since, growing exponentially, silently accumulating a fortune that would soon shock everyone in that room. My share, he revealed, was worth more than the house and the investments combined, a staggering $1.2 million. The air in the room seemed to freeze, the silence suddenly deafening. My mother's face, usually composed and unreadable, went stark white, her composure crumbling in an instant. In that precise moment, everything changed. The quiet storm I had been weathering alone was about to break, and its fury would spare no one. 2 weeks after the will reading, a phone call from my mother shattered the fragile peace I had managed to construct around myself. Her voice, usually clipped and formal, held an unusual sweetness, a saccharine tone that immediately put me on edge. "We need to talk as a family," she purred, the words dripping with an artificial warmth that felt utterly disingenuous. "Come to the house Saturday." A knot of apprehension tightened in my stomach. I should have known then that something was amiss. My instincts, honed by years of navigating their subtle manipulations, screamed a silent warning. But a part of me, a small, hopeful part, still yearned for genuine connection, for a reconciliation that deep down I knew was a fantasy. So, against my better judgment, I agreed, stepping willingly into what I suspected would be a carefully laid trap. When I arrived that Saturday, the atmosphere in the opulent living room was thick with an unspoken tension, a palpable sense of anticipation that prickled my skin. They were all waiting, a united front, my mother, my father, my brother, and a man in a sleek gray suit I had never seen before. His presence, an unfamiliar face amidst the familiar, immediately confirmed my suspicions. This was no ordinary family discussion. This was an ambush. "This is Richard," my mother announced, her voice regaining its usual detached composure. "Our attorney." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication, solidifying the adversarial nature of the gathering. I sat down on the edge of a plush armchair, the fabric feeling strangely cold against my skin, my senses on high alert, bracing myself for the inevitable confrontation. The air felt wrong, heavy with unspoken agendas and calculated maneuvers. Richard, with a practiced smoothness, slid a document across the polished mahogany table towards me. Its pristine white pages seemed to glow ominously under the soft lamplight. "We've drafted a family harmony agreement for everyone's benefit," he stated, his voice devoid of emotion, a professional drone that masked the true intent behind his words. My eyes scanned the first page, the legal jargon blurring into a chilling clarity. It stated unequivocally that I would transfer my entire share of the trust, the $1.2 million that was rightfully mine, into a family management account. They, my parents and brother, would oversee it, invest it, responsibly, and in return, I would receive a monthly allowance. A paltry $2,000 a month from my own money, a sum that felt like a cruel joke, an insult to my intelligence and my hard-won independence. "You've never been good with money, sweetheart," my mother interjected, her voice a syrupy confection of false concern. "We're trying to protect you." The words were a familiar refrain, a condescending echo of a lifetime of being told I was incapable, irresponsible, naive. Protect me? I thought, the irony a bitter taste in my mouth. "You're young, impulsive," she continued, her gaze unwavering. "This kind of sum could ruin your life if you're not careful." My brother, ever the loyal lieutenant, leaned forward, his expression a mask of feigned concern. "Don't be selfish," he chimed in, his voice laced with a thinly veiled accusation. "This is about keeping Grandpa's legacy intact as a family." Their words, a carefully orchestrated symphony of manipulation, sought to paint me as the reckless villain, the one threatening the sacred bond of family, when in reality, they were the ones attempting to strip me of my rightful inheritance. I looked at the document again, then at Richard, my gaze hardening with a resolve born of years of quiet endurance. "And if I say no?" The question hung in the air, a challenge that shattered their carefully constructed facade. My father's face, usually placid, hardened instantly, the warmth draining from his eyes, replaced by a cold, steely glint. "Then we'll do this the hard way," he stated, his voice low and menacing, a clear threat that left no room for misinterpretation. Richard cleared his throat, a subtle signal that it was his turn to deliver the final blow. "We can file a petition with the probate court," he explained, his tone chillingly calm. "A conservatorship if necessary. It would be unfortunate, expensive, embarrassing for you." He let that last word, embarrassing, hang in the air, a calculated weapon designed to wound and intimidate, to shame me into submission. The ultimatum was clear, brutal, and utterly devoid of any genuine concern for my well-being. "You have 72 hours to decide," Richard concluded, his eyes fixed on mine, daring me to defy them. I stood up slowly, the unsigned agreement still clutched in my hand, its words a testament to their audacious greed. "I've decided," I stated, my voice surprisingly steady, a quiet declaration of war. I walked out of that house, leaving behind the suffocating atmosphere of their calculated cruelty, the unspoken threats echoing in my ears. I had 72 hours before they would file their petition, before they would unleash their legal machinery against me, but they had gravely miscalculated. They thought they had cornered me, but what they didn't realize was that they had just ignited a fire within me, a resolve so fierce, so unyielding, that it would shake their world to its very core. The clock was ticking, and I wouldn't waste a single second. 72 hours later, the ominous knock on my apartment door sent a jolt through me, a chilling confirmation that their threats were not idle. A process server, his face impassive, stood on my doorstep, holding a thick envelope. My hands, despite my resolve, trembled slightly as I signed for it, the weight of the impending battle pressing down on me. Inside, a petition, 14 pages of legal jargon and damning accusations, lay waiting. They were asking the court to declare me financially incompetent, a cruel irony given my meticulous budgeting and hard-earned independence. The ultimate insult, to appoint my mother as conservator of my assets, supposedly for my own protection. The allegations were brutal, a calculated assault on my character, reckless spending, poor judgment, an inability to manage complex financial matters. Every single word was a lie, a fabrication designed to strip me of my autonomy and my inheritance. Yet, they were notarized, filed, official, carrying the weight of legal authority, regardless of their truthfulness. The court date was set, a mere 3 weeks away, a ticking clock that amplified the pressure. That same afternoon, my phone rang, the caller ID displaying my boss's name. A cold dread settled in my stomach. "Can you come in? We need to talk." I sat in her office, the air thick with an unspoken tension, as she slid a printout across her desk. It was a public record search, my name prominently displayed, followed by the details of the petition. The world, it seemed, was shrinking, closing in on me. "Is there something going on we should know about?" she asked, her voice carefully neutral, but her eyes betraying a hint of concern, perhaps even suspicion. I tried to explain, to minimize the gravity of the situation. It's a family dispute. It's not true. But the words felt hollow, inadequate against the official weight of the document. She looked uncomfortable, her gaze shifting away from mine. "We're going to need to put you on temporary administrative leave," she stated, her voice softening slightly. "Until this is resolved, it's policy." I walked out of that office in a fog, the world outside seeming to blur, the ground beneath my feet feeling suddenly unstable. My livelihood, my hard-won career, was now collateral damage in their relentless pursuit of my inheritance. That night, my best friend called, her voice laced with a mixture of sympathy and pragmatism. She had heard, of course. News travels fast, especially when it involves public records and family drama. "Just give them half," she urged, her tone gentle but firm. "It's not worth the fight. You'll still have $600,000. That's more than most people ever see." Her words, though well-intentioned, struck a chord of doubt within me. Maybe she was right. Maybe I should just let them win, surrender to the overwhelming pressure, and salvage what I could. The thought was tempting. A siren song of peace, and an end to the relentless emotional drain. The idea of simply walking away, of avoiding the painful confrontation, held a powerful allure. For a fleeting moment I considered it, the weight of the world feeling too heavy to bear alone. But then, my gaze fell upon the old, leather-bound binder, sitting quietly on my bookshelf. Grandpa's binder, the one he had given me 5 years ago, filled with his meticulous records, his quiet wisdom. It was a tangible link to his unwavering belief in me, a silent reminder of his lessons. With a renewed sense of purpose, I reached for it, my fingers tracing the worn edges of the cover. I opened it, the pages rustling softly, a whisper from the past. I turned to page 12, a specific section I vaguely remembered him mentioning, and my hands, which had been trembling with fear moments before, began to shake again, but this time for a completely different reason. A surge of adrenaline, cold and exhilarating, coursed through my veins. Page 12, Section 7, Subsection D. I read it once, then twice, then a third time, my eyes scanning the words, ensuring I wasn't imagining the incredible truth laid bare before me. Any beneficiary who initiates or participates in legal action to deprive another beneficiary of their designated share shall immediately forfeit their entire interest in this trust. A forfeiture clause. It was there in black and white, a legal safeguard. A brilliant stroke of foresight from a man who had anticipated every possible contingency. And in the margin, in Grandpa's unmistakable handwriting, in neat blue block letters, a simple yet profound message. "Keep this safe, kiddo. Trust, but verify." He knew. Somehow he had known this might happen, had foreseen the greed, the betrayal, and had armed me with the ultimate defense. The game, it seemed, was far from over. In fact, it had just begun. My first call was to Jake. He had been in my study group during undergrad, a brilliant mind who had just passed the bar 3 months ago. "Jake," I said, my voice urgent, "I need you to look at something now." He came over immediately, his usual laid-back demeanor replaced by a focused intensity as he read the clause. He read it again, his brow furrowed in concentration, then looked up at me, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and disbelief. "This is enforceable," he stated, his voice hushed. "If they're suing you to take your share, and this clause is valid, they forfeit everything. The house, the investments, all of it." I stared at him, the implications of his words slowly sinking in. "Are you sure?" I whispered, almost afraid to believe it. "I'm sure," he affirmed, a slight smile playing on his lips. "This is nuclear." The tide had turned, dramatically, unexpectedly, and the quiet girl they had underestimated was about to unleash a force they could never have imagined. Armed with this newfound knowledge, a potent weapon forged by Grandpa's foresight, I drafted a letter that very night. Every word was carefully chosen, precise and unwavering, a declaration of intent that left no room for misinterpretation. It was a certified mail, ensuring its undeniable receipt, with copies dispatched to my parents, my brother, and their smug attorney, Richard. Attached was a single crucial page, Section 7, Subsection D of the trust, highlighted in stark yellow, its words a silent thunderclap. Alongside it, a concise, unequivocal note. You have 48 hours to withdraw your petition. If you proceed, the forfeiture clause will be enforced. You will lose everything Grandpa left you. I sent it at 6:00 in the morning, a quiet dawn breaking over a world about to be shaken. The deadline passed, a tense, agonizing wait, but they didn't withdraw. They doubled down, their arrogance blinding them to the precipice they were approaching. Richard, emboldened by their unwavering conviction, filed an amended petition, one that was even more insidious than the first. This new petition was a venomous assault, now claiming undue influence. They alleged that Grandpa wasn't mentally sound when he set up the trust, that I, his quiet, unassuming granddaughter, had somehow manipulated him in his final years. To bolster their malicious claims, they attached an affidavit from a doctor who had seen Grandpa once, 4 years before he died, for a routine checkup. The affidavit, a flimsy piece of paper, claimed Grandpa had shown signs of confusion. It was a blatant lie, a cruel distortion of truth, but it was notarized, given the veneer of officialdom, and designed to cast a shadow of doubt over Grandpa's mental faculties, and by extension, my integrity. The depths of their desperation, and their willingness to stoop to such tactics, chilled me to the bone. The public assault didn't stop there. My brother, ever the master of superficial appearances, took to Instagram, posting a photo of Grandpa, smiling warmly from a family Christmas 10 years prior. The caption, however, was a calculated act of manipulation, protecting his true wishes from those who would twist them. Family is forever. The comments poured in, a torrent of judgment and misplaced sympathy. People I had gone to high school with, distant cousins, friends of friends, a digital mob fueled by misinformation and the allure of drama. She always seemed off, one wrote. Money changes people, another lamented. Praying for your family, a third offered, oblivious to the true nature of the family they were supporting. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, each notification a fresh stab, a reminder of the public narrative they were so skillfully crafting against me. The isolation deepened, the weight of their collective judgment pressing down, threatening to suffocate me. 2 days later, HR called again, their tone now firmer, less apologetic. We're extending your leave, the voice on the other end stated, pending resolution of the court case. My heart sank. For how long? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Indefinitely. The word hung in the air, a death knell for my career, for the stability I had so painstakingly built. My job, my financial independence, everything I had worked for, was now suspended in a cruel limbo, held hostage by their relentless campaign. The court date was just 1 week away, a looming deadline that felt impossibly close. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford, food an afterthought. Every time I opened social media, there was another post, another comment, another wave of judgment washing over me. I felt like I was drowning, caught in a relentless current of their making, with no visible shore in sight. I sat at my kitchen table at 2 a.m, the silence of the night amplifying the frantic beat of my own heart. My gaze fell upon Grandpa's binder, its familiar presence a small comfort in the chaos. If they wanted to play dirty, if they were willing to stoop to such despicable tactics, then I had something they didn't know about. Something that would not only expose their lies, but end this nightmare once and for all. A quiet resolve settled over me, replacing the fear and despair. I opened the binder, not to the forfeiture clause this time, but to a different section, one that held a different kind of truth. I pulled out the trust amendment they had submitted to the court, the one claiming Grandpa wanted unified asset management, and compared it to my original pristine copy. The discrepancies were glaring, undeniable. The dates didn't match. Neither did the notary seals. I laid both documents side by side, the fraudulent amendment a stark contrast to the authentic one. The amendment my parents had submitted claimed Grandpa wanted all assets consolidated for family harmony and unified management, dated March 2019. My original trust, signed and notarized years earlier, had no such amendment. But it was the seals that truly caught my eye. Different notaries, different embossers, subtle but crucial details that screamed of deception. A cold, hard certainty settled in my gut. This wasn't just about greed. This was about fraud. A criminal act committed by the very people who claimed to be protecting Grandpa's legacy. The game had indeed changed, and I was ready to play by their rules, but with a truth they could never have anticipated. My friends, if you've made it this far, if you've felt the weight of my story, then you know this isn't just about legal battles. It's about the resilience of the human spirit, about finding strength when you feel utterly alone. If this journey has resonated with you, if it's stirred something deep inside, please, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, join our community, and let's continue to explore these profound narratives together. And I truly want to hear from you. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to fight for your truth, even against those you loved? Share your stories in the comments below. Your experiences, your wisdom, they matter, they inspire. And if there are themes, emotions, or types of stories you'd love to see explored on this channel, tell me. This space is for all of us, a place where our shared humanity can shine through. Your voice is invaluable here. The discovery of the forged amendment was a seismic shift in my understanding of the entire situation. It transformed the family dispute from a painful disagreement over inheritance into something far more sinister, a calculated act of criminal fraud. My next step was clear, guided by Grandpa's meticulous lessons. I found the original notary's name in his carefully preserved records, a small faded entry that now held immense significance. With a mixture of trepidation and fierce determination, I called him. He was retired, living a quiet life in Arizona, his voice a gentle rumble over the phone. When I explained my predicament, he listened patiently, then offered a crucial piece of information. "I keep copies of everything I ever notarized," he told me, his voice firm with professional integrity. "Send me the document number." A flicker of hope, fragile yet persistent, ignited within me. I did as he asked, sending him the document number, and then began the agonizing wait. An hour later, my phone rang. It was him. "I never notarized that," he stated, his voice now laced with a quiet indignation. "That's not my seal. Someone forged it." The words, though anticipated, still hit me with the force of a physical blow. It was confirmation, undeniable and irrefutable. He sent an affidavit that afternoon, a sworn statement that would become a cornerstone of my defense, a testament to the truth against their web of lies. But I needed more than just an affidavit. I needed scientific proof, an expert's undeniable verdict. I paid $300, a significant sum for my dwindling resources, for a forensic document examiner, a specialist who could dissect the very fibers of the paper and the ink to reveal its secrets. The report arrived 4 days later, a thick envelope that felt heavy with destiny. Its contents were damning, a meticulous dismantling of their fraudulent claims. The signature on the amendment, the examiner concluded, was digitally traced, a crude attempt at replication that lacked the organic imperfections of a genuine hand. Even more damning, the paper stock itself was manufactured in 2022, 3 years after the alleged signing date of March 2019. It was an undeniable, irrefutable forgery. My family hadn't just tried to steal from me. They had committed fraud, a criminal act that carried severe legal consequences. The realization was a cold, hard truth that settled deep within my bones. The people who had raised me, who had claimed to love me, were willing to break the law, to fabricate evidence, to destroy my reputation, all for money. I sat in my apartment, holding the report, the weight of its revelations pressing down on me. For the first time, I understood the true depth of their actions, and it wasn't just about greed. This was never about family harmony, as they had so glibly claimed. This was about desperation, a profound, consuming desperation that had driven them to such extreme measures, and I needed to know why. The question gnawed at me, a relentless itch that demanded to be scratched. What could possibly drive them to such a precipice, to risk everything for a share of Grandpa's legacy? The answer, I suspected, lay hidden beneath layers of carefully constructed appearances, waiting to be unearthed. My investigation began, a quiet, methodical digging into the public records, a realm far more accessible than most people realize. I started with my brother's startup, the venture my mom and dad had always boasted about, their voices brimming with pride. A quick search of the business registry revealed a shocking truth. It had been dissolved 6 months ago. Further digging uncovered a lawsuit, a trail of unpaid vendors, and a default judgment for a staggering $340,000. His golden boy facade was crumbling, revealing a foundation of financial ruin. Then, I searched my parents' address, the grand house that had always symbolized their stability and success. A foreclosure notice, a public record, revealed an outstanding debt of $485,000, with only 90 days to pay, or the bank would seize their home. Their world, too, was on the brink of collapse. I pulled up my father's investment account, a detail he had once mentioned casually at a family dinner years ago, enough for me to track it. It was publicly traded, allowing me to follow its trajectory. Liquidated. A margin call had wiped out everything. My mother's LinkedIn profile, usually a showcase of her professional achievements, now showed recent activity. She had been liking posts about debt consolidation, about retirement planning for people over 60. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place, forming a devastatingly clear picture. The math was simple, brutal in its clarity. My brother's business failure, $340,000. The foreclosure on their house, $485,000. Their combined trust shares, $670,000. My share, $1.2 million. They weren't evil, not in the cartoonish sense of villains. They were drowning, desperately, hopelessly, and they believed that pulling me under, seizing my lifeline, was their only chance at salvation. They thought my destruction would save them, a tragic, misguided belief that had driven them to commit an unforgivable act. The weight of their desperation, the sheer magnitude of their financial ruin, settled over me with a chilling clarity. It didn't excuse their actions, not in the slightest, but it provided a context, a tragic understanding of the forces that had driven them to such an unforgivable betrayal. I closed my laptop, the screen reflecting my own somber expression. The path forward, once shrouded in doubt and fear, now lay before me with an undeniable, almost spiritual clarity. I knew exactly what I had to do, and it wasn't what they expected. This wasn't just about defending myself against their malicious claims. It was about ending this cleanly, permanently, ensuring that the truth would prevail and that Grandpa's legacy, his true intentions, would be honored. This was about reclaiming my narrative, my dignity, and my future from the wreckage of their greed. With a renewed sense of purpose, a quiet fire burning in my soul, I began to draft a counter-petition. This document would be my declaration of war, a meticulously constructed legal argument that would expose their deceit and demand justice. Breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, enforcement of the forfeiture clause under Section 7, subsection D. Each charge was a precise blow, aimed at the heart of their elaborate deception. I wasn't just reacting to their attacks. I was launching my own offensive, a strategic maneuver designed to dismantle their case piece by piece. Then, with a tactical precision that surprised even myself, I filed a motion to freeze all trust disbursements pending the hearing. This was a crucial step, a move that would prevent them from accessing any funds, effectively cutting off their financial lifeline and forcing their hand. I worked through the night, the silence of my apartment punctuated only by the rhythmic click of my keyboard and the occasional rustle of papers. Every citation was double-checked, every exhibit meticulously organized, every word weighed for its impact and accuracy. There was no room for error, no space for doubt. This was my moment, my chance to prove not only my innocence but also my strength, my resilience, and the unwavering power of truth. As the first faint streaks of dawn began to paint the sky, I submitted it electronically, the final click of the mouse a silent prayer, a hopeful whisper into the digital ether. The confirmation email arrived moments later, a small, unassuming message that held immense significance. Attorney of record, my name, followed by 3 letters that sent a shiver of triumph down my spine. Esquire. The revelation was a secret I had guarded fiercely, a quiet ambition nurtured in the shadows of their dismissiveness. I had passed the bar 6 months earlier, a culmination of 4 arduous years in a night program, studying part-time while working to support myself. It had been a grueling journey, a testament to my grit and determination, a path I had walked alone, without their knowledge or approval. I hadn't told anyone, not my parents, not my brother, not even my closest friends. I had kept it quiet because I didn't want the attention, didn't want the questions, didn't want their inevitable skepticism or their backhanded compliments. It was my achievement, my silent victory, a personal triumph that belonged solely to me. But now Now it mattered. Now, it was not just a personal accomplishment. It was a shield, a sword, a powerful tool in the battle for my future. I printed my bar admission certificate, its official seal a symbol of my hard-won legitimacy. With a quiet reverence, I framed it, then hung it on the wall, a beacon of my newfound strength. Grandpa would have been so proud, I thought, a bittersweet pang in my heart. He had always believed in my intellect, in my capacity for greatness, even when no one else did. He had seen the lawyer in me long before I had even dared to dream it, and now, his wisdom, his unwavering faith, was manifesting in the most profound way imaginable. The night before the hearing, sleep was an impossibility, a luxury I neither desired nor needed. My mind was a whirlwind of arguments, of evidence, of every conceivable question the judge might ask. I ran through every scenario, every potential challenge, meticulously preparing myself for the crucible that awaited me. My briefcase, once a symbol of my humble beginnings, was now packed with purpose. 3 folders, tabbed, organized, each containing a piece of the truth that would set me free. When the alarm finally sounded at 5 a.m., a gentle hum in the pre-dawn stillness, I was already dressed, my resolve as sharp as the creases in my suit. I looked at myself in the mirror, a quiet confidence reflected in my eyes, and then, with a deep breath, I drove to the courthouse, ready to face the storm I had so carefully prepared for. The courtroom door, once a symbol of oppressive weight, now felt different. As I pushed it open, a quiet strength resonated within me, replacing the fear that had once threatened to consume me. My gaze swept across the familiar faces in the front row. Mom, Dad, my brother, and Richard, their expressions a mixture of anticipation and thinly veiled contempt. Mom saw me first, her eyes widening almost imperceptibly before she leaned over to whisper something to Dad. He, in turn, rolled his eyes, a familiar gesture of dismissal that now held no power over me. My brother, ever the provocateur, offered a smug smirk, confident in their perceived victory. They saw the same girl they had always underestimated, the one they believed was powerless against their machinations. But they were about to witness a transformation, a quiet revolution unfolding before their very eyes. I walked to the defendant's table, my steps firm and deliberate, the sound echoing softly in the hushed courtroom. With a practiced ease, I set my briefcase down, the worn leather a testament to my journey. I took out the 3 folders, their color-coded tabs a silent promise of the meticulously organized evidence within. The bailiff's voice, a solemn pronouncement, cut through the tension. All rise. The judge entered, an older woman with sharp, intelligent eyes that seemed to miss nothing. She sat, her gaze sweeping across the room, then settled on her notes, her expression unreadable. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent acknowledgement that the moment of truth had finally arrived. This is a petition for conservatorship filed by Linda and Robert, the judge began, her voice clear and authoritative. The respondent is their daughter. She paused, her eyes lifting from her notes, her gaze now fixed on me. I see we also have a counter-petition filed by... She trailed off, a subtle question in her eyes, as if expecting to see another attorney rise. The courtroom was utterly silent, every eye fixed on me. This was it, the moment of revelation, the culmination of years of quiet struggle and months of intense preparation. I stood, my posture straight, my voice steady and clear, carrying across the hushed room. Your Honor, I stated, my voice resonating with a newfound authority, I am counsel of record. I was admitted to the bar in January of this year. The effect was immediate, profound, and utterly satisfying. The courtroom went silent, a collective gasp rippling through the spectators. Richard's face, usually a mask of confident composure, drained of all color, his jaw slack with disbelief. My mother's mouth fell open, a silent O of shock, her carefully constructed facade crumbling in an instant. My brother's smug smirk vanished, replaced by a look of stunned incomprehension, his eyes wide with a dawning realization. The judge, however, merely nodded, a faint, almost imperceptible smile playing on her lips, a silent acknowledgement of the unexpected turn of events. Proceed, she commanded, her voice firm, her eyes now gleaming with an intrigued respect. The game had indeed changed, and I was no longer just the underestimated daughter. I was an officer of the court, ready to deliver justice. I opened the first folder, my movements precise and unhurried, savoring the moment. "Your Honor," I began, my voice gaining strength with each word. "I'd like to present 3 exhibits." I handed a copy of the first exhibit to the clerk, who, with a slight tremor in her hand, passed it to the judge. First, Section 7, Subsection D of the Trust, the Forfeiture Clause. The judge took the document, her sharp eyes immediately scanning its contents. This clause clearly states that any beneficiary who initiates legal action to deprive another beneficiary of their designated share forfeits their entire share. The words hung in the air, a legal guillotine poised to fall. The judge read it slowly, then looked directly at Richard, her gaze piercing. "Counselor," she inquired, her voice deceptively calm, "were you aware of this provision?" Richard stammered, his usual eloquence deserting him. "Your Honor, we were focused on our client's legitimate concerns about—" The judge cut him off, her voice sharper now. "Were you aware?" He swallowed hard, his face a mask of discomfort. We were recently made aware." Yes. The admission was a small victory, a crack in their armor. I opened the second folder, a silent signal that the next blow was imminent. "Second exhibit," I announced. "The trust amendment submitted by the petitioners claiming my grandfather wanted unified asset management." I placed it on the overhead projector, its fraudulent nature about to be exposed for all to see. The stage was set, the truth ready to be unveiled, and the consequences for them would be devastating. The fraudulent amendment, projected onto the screen for all to see, seemed to glow with an almost malevolent energy. Its pristine appearance, once a deceptive veil, now screamed of its fabricated nature. I then opened my third folder, extracting the final, irrefutable pieces of evidence. "Third exhibit," I announced, my voice steady and clear, "a notary affidavit and forensic document analysis." I laid them side by side on the projector, the 2 documents a stark contrast to the one they were meant to validate. The notary's sworn statement, unequivocally denying his involvement, and the forensic report, a scientific dissection of their lies, were now undeniable proof. The courtroom held its breath, a collective anticipation hanging heavy in the air, as the full weight of their deception was about to be revealed. "The amendment is a forgery," I stated, my voice devoid of emotion, simply presenting the facts. "Different notary, traced signature, paper manufactured 3 years after the alleged signing date." Each word was a hammer blow, chipping away at their carefully constructed edifice of lies. The judge leaned forward, her sharp eyes scrutinizing the documents, her expression growing increasingly stern. I handed her the forensic report, its pages filled with technical jargon and scientific conclusions, all pointing to one undeniable truth. She read it slowly, meticulously, her gaze moving from the report to the projected documents, then finally, with a chilling intensity, to my parents. The silence in the courtroom was absolute, broken only by the faint hum of the projector. "Do you have an explanation for this?" the judge inquired, her voice low but piercing, directed squarely at my parents. The question hung in the air, heavy with accusation. Silence. A profound, agonizing silence filled the room. My parents, usually so quick with excuses or deflections, were utterly speechless, their faces pale and drawn, their eyes darting nervously. Richard, their attorney, finally stirred, attempting a desperate maneuver. "Your Honor," he interjected, his voice strained, "we'd like to request a continuance to—" The judge cut him off mid-sentence, her hand raised, her expression unyielding. "Denied." Her gaze returned to my parents, unwavering. "Do your clients have an explanation?" More silence. This time it was even heavier, more damning, a tacit admission of guilt that resonated through the hushed courtroom. The judge set the report down, her movements deliberate, her eyes now blazing with a righteous indignation. Her next words were a torrent of justice, swift and uncompromising. "I'm dismissing the petition with prejudice." The phrase "with prejudice" meant it could never be refiled, a definitive end to their malicious conservatorship attempt. The forfeiture clause is enforceable and will be enforced. Another blow, striking at the very heart of their greed. The petitioners will forfeit their shares under Section 7, Subsection D, the words echoed in the courtroom, sealing their fate, stripping them of everything Grandpa had left them. But she wasn't finished. I am also imposing sanctions in the amount of $15,000 for filing a fraudulent document. The financial penalty was a clear message, a punishment for their egregious attempt to deceive the court. And then came the final, most devastating blow, a consequence that transcended mere financial loss. This case will be referred to the district attorney for review. The gavel came down with a resounding thud, a sound that reverberated through the courtroom, signaling the end of their charade and the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter for them. The judge's words, her decisive actions, were a testament to the power of truth, to the unwavering hand of justice when confronted with such blatant deceit. I packed my briefcase, my movements calm and deliberate, the weight of the folders now feeling lighter, imbued with the triumph of truth. I didn't look back at my family, at their stunned, defeated faces. There was no need. The battle was over, the victory secured, not through vengeance, but through the quiet, unwavering pursuit of justice. The forfeiture clause was enforced 30 days later, a legal process that meticulously redistributed the assets. My parents lost the investment accounts, their financial stability shattered. My brother lost the house, the symbol of his golden boy status now stripped away. The assets, once destined for their greedy hands, were redistributed according to the secondary beneficiary clause Grandpa had so wisely written, a scholarship fund for first-generation college students in our county. Grandpa had planned for this, for every contingency, ensuring that even if they contested, even if they fought, the money would still do good, fulfilling a purpose far greater than their selfish desires. The aftermath of the courtroom drama unfolded with a quiet, almost somber inevitability. My brother, stripped of his inheritance and facing the crushing weight of his failed business, filed for bankruptcy 2 months later. The golden boy, once so accustomed to effortless success, was now working retail, managing a store in a neighboring town, a stark and humbling contrast to the life he had once envisioned. My parents, their financial world in ruins, sold their grand house before the bank could seize it, a final act of preserving some semblance of control. They moved into a modest 2-bedroom apartment, a far cry from the opulent lifestyle they had always maintained, their pride wounded, their future uncertain. The district attorney, after reviewing the case, ultimately declined to file criminal charges, a decision that, while perhaps disappointing to some, brought a different kind of justice. My parents agreed to repay court costs, and Richard's firm quietly, discreetly, let them go as clients. No criminal record, no public shaming beyond what they had already inflicted upon themselves, just the undeniable, irreversible consequences of their choices. For me, the victory was not about retribution, but about reclamation. I took $400,000 from my share of Grandpa's trust, a portion that felt right and purposeful, and established a scholarship in his name. The first ceremony was held last spring, a heartwarming event that filled me with a profound sense of pride and connection to his enduring legacy. 5 students, bright-eyed and full of hope, received the scholarships, all of them working nights, just as I had, striving to build a better future against challenging odds. Their stories mirrored my own, a testament to the power of grit and determination, and I knew, with every fiber of my being, that Grandpa would have approved. The rest of my inheritance, the substantial sum that remained, was put to practical use. I paid off my student loans, shedding the invisible weight that had burdened me for so long, and bought a small, cozy condo, a place that was truly mine, a sanctuary of peace and independence. My professional life also began anew, shaped by the crucible of my personal experience. I started a solo practice, specializing in helping families navigate the often treacherous waters of estate disputes. My unique perspective, my first-hand understanding of the emotional complexities and legal intricacies, allowed me to connect with clients on a deeper level, offering not just legal counsel, but genuine empathy and guidance. It was a fulfilling path, a way to honor Grandpa's memory, and to turn my own pain into a source of strength and support for others. The courtroom, once a place of fear and confrontation, now became an arena where I could advocate for justice, where I could help others find their voice and protect their legacies. With my family, I established clear, firm boundaries. Low contact, supervised only. No holidays, no spontaneous visits. It was a difficult but necessary decision, a way to protect my peace and prevent further emotional manipulation. 6 months after the court case, an email arrived from my mother. "I'm sorry things got so complicated," it read, her words carefully chosen, devoid of any genuine accountability or true remorse. "I hope you're doing well." It was a hollow apology, a superficial gesture that lacked the depth of understanding or the acknowledgement of her role in the pain she had caused. There was no accountability, no real apology, just a vague expression of regret for the complications. I wrote back, my response brief and to the point, carefully crafted to convey both civility and an unwavering resolve. "Thank you. I wish you the best." That was it. No lengthy explanations, no rehashing of the past, just a clear, concise statement that closed the door on any further attempts at manipulation. My father hasn't spoken to me since the trial. I don't think he ever will, and I've made peace with that. Some people, I've learned, are simply incapable of admitting they're wrong, of confronting their own flaws. That's their burden to carry, not mine. My brother reached out once, a tentative message asking if we could get coffee. I said no. "Maybe one day," I wrote back, "but not now. Not until I'm ready. Not until..." The healing process was long and arduous, and I knew that true reconciliation, if it were ever to happen, would require genuine remorse and a profound shift in their understanding, something I wasn't sure they were capable of. Every morning, I see Grandpa's picture on my desk, the one from that Christmas, the very same one my brother had posted online in his misguided attempt to defame me. But when I look at it now, I don't see the fight. I don't see the courtroom. I don't see the betrayal. I see the man who believed in me when no one else did, the man who taught me that love without respect is just control wearing a mask. He taught me to keep the receipts, not just the financial ones, but the emotional ones too, the records of truth and integrity. And I won, not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted my life back, a life built on authenticity, self-respect, and the enduring legacy of his unwavering love. This journey, fraught with pain and betrayal, ultimately led me to a profound understanding of myself, of family, and of the quiet power that resides within each of us to stand firm in our truth. The path I walked, from the shadows of neglect to the bright light of self-discovery, was not one I chose consciously in my youth. It was, in many ways, woven by the unseen threads of destiny, guided by the quiet wisdom of a man who saw beyond the superficial. Grandpa's influence, subtle yet profound, was the bedrock upon which my resilience was built. He didn't just teach me to save documents. He taught me to value truth, to trust my instincts, and to understand that genuine love is always accompanied by respect. His lessons were not delivered in grand pronouncements, but in quiet conversations over diner coffee, in the gentle squeeze of a hand, in the unwavering belief reflected in his eyes. He was the anchor in my storm, the compass in my wilderness, and his spirit, I now realize, was always preparing me for the battles I would eventually face. There's a spiritual dimension to this journey, a sense that forces beyond our immediate comprehension were at play. How else could one explain Grandpa's uncanny foresight, his meticulous planning for a betrayal he could not have logically predicted? It felt as though he was an oracle, a guardian angel orchestrating events from beyond the veil, ensuring that justice, in its purest form, would ultimately prevail. His trust, with its ingenious forfeiture clause and its benevolent secondary beneficiary, was not merely a legal document. It was a testament to his unwavering faith in the inherent goodness of humanity, even when confronted with its darkest impulses. He understood that wealth, in the wrong hands, could corrupt, but in the right hands, it could be a powerful force for good, a legacy that transcended mere monetary value. The emotional toll of battling my own family was immense, a wound that cut deeper than any physical injury. There were nights when the weight of their accusations, the sting of their public defamation, felt unbearable. The feeling of being ostracized, of having my character systematically dismantled by those who should have cherished me, left scars that time would slowly heal, but never fully erase. Yet, in those darkest moments, a quiet strength would emerge from within, a spiritual fortitude that reminded me of Grandpa's words, "Grit lasts longer." It was a reminder that my worth was not defined by their perception, but by my own integrity, my own unwavering commitment to truth. This inner resilience, this deep well of spiritual strength, became my shield against their relentless assault. The journey of healing, I discovered, was not a linear path. It was a winding road, filled with moments of profound peace and unexpected pangs of sorrow. The decision to maintain low contact with my family was not made lightly. It was a painful necessity, a boundary drawn to protect my emotional and spiritual well-being. Their inability to offer a genuine apology, to acknowledge the depth of their wrongdoing, was a clear indication that true reconciliation, at least for now, was an impossibility. It was a difficult truth to accept, but one that ultimately set me free from the endless cycle of their manipulation and my own yearning for a love they were incapable of giving. The peace I found was not in their forgiveness, but in my own self-acceptance, in the unwavering belief that I had acted with integrity and honor. My solo practice, born from the ashes of my personal ordeal, became more than just a profession. It became a calling. Each client who walked through my door, grappling with their own family disputes and estate battles, brought with them a story that resonated deeply with my own. I saw their fear, their confusion, their quiet desperation, and I offered them not just legal expertise, but a compassionate understanding that only someone who had walked a similar path could provide. It was a way to transform my pain into purpose, to channel my experiences into a force for good, ensuring that others would not have to navigate such treacherous waters alone. This work, this connection to others, became a profound source of spiritual fulfillment, a testament to the transformative power of adversity. And so, as I look at Grandpa's picture each morning, I am reminded not of the battle, but of the love that fueled it. His belief in me, his quiet guidance, his unwavering faith in the power of truth. These are the true treasures he left behind. The inheritance was merely a catalyst, a means to an end, but the real legacy was the strength he instilled in me, the wisdom he imparted, and the courage he inspired. This story, my story, is a testament to the enduring power of love, even in the face of betrayal, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest victories are won not with a roar, but with a quiet, unwavering resolve, guided by the unseen threads of destiny and the spiritual wisdom of those who truly believe in us. The journey through the legal system, with its cold formalities and intricate procedures, often felt like a stark contrast to the deeply personal and emotional battle I was fighting. Yet, it was precisely within that structured environment that the unspoken language of Grandpa's love truly manifested. His meticulous record-keeping, his foresight in crafting the forfeiture clause, his benevolent vision for the scholarship fund. These were not just legal strategies. They were acts of profound love, a silent conversation across time, ensuring that his values would endure beyond his physical presence. He didn't need grand declarations. His actions spoke volumes, echoing a devotion that transcended the superficiality of material wealth. This was his true legacy, not just the money, but the wisdom, the protection, and the unwavering belief in my potential. There's a profound spiritual lesson embedded in this experience, a reminder that true wealth lies not in what we accumulate, but in the integrity we maintain and the love we cultivate. My family, blinded by their desperation and greed, chased after a fleeting illusion of security, sacrificing their moral compass in the process. They sought to control, to dominate, to take what they believed was rightfully theirs, without understanding the deeper spiritual implications of their actions. Their pursuit of material gain led them down a path of deceit and betrayal, ultimately leaving them with far less than they started, both financially and emotionally. This stark contrast served as a powerful testament to Grandpa's philosophy, that true prosperity is rooted in honesty, kindness, and a genuine respect for others. The process of rebuilding my life, both personally and professionally, became an act of spiritual reclamation. Each step, from establishing my solo practice to setting firm boundaries with my family, was a conscious choice to align my actions with my deepest values. It was a journey of self-discovery, of shedding the layers of doubt and insecurity that had accumulated over years of being underestimated. I learned to trust my own judgment, to listen to the quiet whispers of my intuition, and to honor the strength that resided within me. This internal transformation, this profound shift in my self-perception, was perhaps the greatest victory of all, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to heal, to grow, and to thrive, even in the face of profound adversity. The scholarship fund, established in Grandpa's name, became a living, breathing extension of his benevolent spirit, witnessing the joy and gratitude of the first-generation college students, knowing that their dreams were being realized because of his foresight and my perseverance, filled me with an indescribable sense of purpose. It was a tangible manifestation of his belief in education, in opportunity, in lifting others up. This act of giving back, of transforming a painful inheritance into a source of hope and empowerment for others, was a profound spiritual experience, a way to honor his memory in the most meaningful way possible. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, light can emerge, and that our actions, however small, can create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond our immediate grasp. The lingering echoes of my family's betrayal, though softened by time and healing, serve as a constant reminder of the importance of discernment and self-preservation. While forgiveness is a powerful spiritual practice, it does not necessitate forgetting or abandoning healthy boundaries. My decision to maintain low contact was not an act of malice, but an act of self-love, a recognition that some relationships, no matter how deeply rooted, can be toxic and detrimental to one's well-being. It was a painful, but necessary step towards emotional freedom, a way to protect my inner peace and ensure that their negativity would no longer define my reality. This boundary, though difficult to enforce, became a sacred space, allowing me to cultivate relationships built on mutual respect and genuine affection. The external battle, fought in the sterile confines of a courtroom, was undeniably arduous, but it paled in comparison to the unseen war that raged within my own heart and mind. The emotional landscape of betrayal is a treacherous terrain, riddled with landmines of doubt, anger, and a profound sense of loss. There were moments, even after the gavel fell and justice was served, when the echoes of their disdain, the sting of their accusations, would resurface, threatening to unravel the fragile peace I had painstakingly constructed. It was a constant, internal struggle to reconcile the image of the family I had once yearned for with the harsh reality of the people they had become. This internal conflict, this wrestling with my own emotions, was perhaps the most challenging aspect of the entire ordeal, a testament to the deep-seated human need for familial connection, even when that connection is irrevocably broken. One of the most insidious aspects of their betrayal was the way it forced me to question my own perceptions, my own memories. Had I always been so naive? Had I missed the subtle signs of their true nature, blinded by a desperate hope for acceptance? These questions, like persistent shadows, would creep into my thoughts, particularly in the quiet solitude of the night. It was a painful process of reevaluating my entire past, of sifting through years of interactions, searching for clues, for moments that, in retrospect, screamed of their underlying motives. This introspection, though agonizing, was ultimately liberating. It allowed me to shed the burden of self-blame, to understand that their actions were a reflection of their own struggles, their own moral failings, and not a commentary on my worth. It was a crucial step in reclaiming my narrative, in solidifying my own truth against the distortions they had attempted to impose. The spiritual journey through this period was marked by a profound sense of isolation, yet paradoxically, also by a deeper connection to something greater than myself. When human connections falter, when trust is shattered, there's an innate human tendency to seek solace and meaning in the spiritual realm. For me, this manifested as a quiet contemplation, a turning inward to find strength and guidance. I spent countless hours in meditation, in prayer, seeking clarity and peace amidst the chaos. It was in these moments of quiet reflection that Grandpa's wisdom would often resurface, not as a voice, but as a feeling, a deep knowing that I was not truly alone, that his spirit, his unwavering belief in me, was a constant presence, guiding me through the darkness. This spiritual anchor became my lifeline, preventing me from being swept away by the currents of despair. The act of establishing the scholarship fund, of seeing the tangible impact of Grandpa's legacy on the lives of deserving students, was a powerful antidote to the lingering bitterness. It was a conscious choice to transform pain into purpose, to channel the negative energy of betrayal into a force for positive change. Each student I met, each story of struggle and aspiration, reinforced the profound truth that good can indeed emerge from adversity. It was a spiritual balm for my wounded soul, a reminder that while some relationships may be broken beyond repair, the capacity for love, for generosity, for making a difference in the world, remains boundless. This act of giving became a cornerstone of my healing, a testament to the transformative power of compassion and altruism. My solo law practice, too, became an extension of this spiritual journey. It wasn't just about earning a living. It was about serving a higher purpose, about using my hard-won knowledge and experience to help others navigate their own complex family disputes. I understood, on a deeply personal level, the emotional devastation that such conflicts could wreak, and I approached each case not just as a legal challenge, but as an opportunity to offer empathy, guidance, and a steady hand. My clients often came to me feeling lost, overwhelmed, and betrayed, much like I had been. To be able to offer them not just legal strategy, but also a sense of hope and empowerment, was incredibly fulfilling, a spiritual reward that far surpassed any monetary compensation. It was a way to honor Grandpa's legacy, not just through the scholarship, but through the daily practice of justice and compassion. The journey of setting boundaries with my family, though emotionally taxing, was an essential act of self-preservation, a declaration of my own worth and my right to peace. It was a recognition that true love, as Grandpa taught me, is built on respect, and without that foundation, a relationship cannot truly thrive. Their inability to offer genuine remorse, to acknowledge the harm they had caused, made it clear that a superficial reconciliation would only perpetuate the cycle of pain. This decision, born of necessity and self-respect, allowed me to create a sacred space for my own healing and growth, free from their toxic influence. It was a powerful lesson in self-love, a spiritual affirmation that my well-being was paramount, and that sometimes the most loving act is to protect your own heart from further harm. The path forward, though still unfolding, was now illuminated by a clearer sense of purpose and an unwavering commitment to my own truth. Even as I forged ahead, building my new life and embracing my purpose, the whispers of the past would occasionally drift back, carried on the winds of memory. There were moments when a familiar scent, a particular song, or even a fleeting glimpse of a family resemblance in a stranger's face would transport me back to a time before the betrayal, to a younger, more naive version of myself. These echoes, though sometimes tinged with a melancholic longing for what might have been, no longer held the power to derail me. Instead, they served as poignant reminders of how far I had come, of the strength I had discovered within, and of the profound lessons learned through adversity. It was a testament to the healing process, a sign that the wounds, though present, no longer dictated my emotional landscape. The spiritual journey of understanding forgiveness became a complex, multi-layered process. It wasn't about absolving my family of their actions, nor was it about pretending the pain never happened. True forgiveness, I realized, was an internal act of liberation, a release from the corrosive grip of resentment and anger. It was about choosing to no longer allow their actions to define my emotional state, to no longer carry the heavy burden of their wrongdoing. This didn't mean forgetting or reconciling. It meant finding peace within myself, regardless of their acknowledgement or remorse. It was a profound spiritual practice, one that required immense courage and a deep commitment to my own well-being, allowing me to move forward with a lighter heart, unburdened by the chains of the past. My work in estate disputes often brought me face to face with the raw, unfiltered emotions of families torn apart by greed, misunderstanding, and unresolved resentments. Each case was a mirror, reflecting aspects of my own journey, but also offering new perspectives and deeper insights into the complexities of human relationships. I learned to listen not just to the legal arguments, but to the unspoken pain, the underlying fears, and the desperate hopes that often fueled these conflicts. It was a privilege to guide my clients through such tumultuous times, to offer them a voice when they felt silenced, and to help them navigate the emotional minefield of family disputes with integrity and clarity. This work, steeped in empathy and a deep understanding of human nature, became a powerful channel for my own continued growth and spiritual development. The scholarship fund continued to flourish, a vibrant testament to Grandpa's enduring spirit. Each year, as new students were selected, I felt a renewed sense of connection to his vision, to his unwavering belief in the power of education to transform lives. It was a beautiful cycle of giving and receiving, a tangible manifestation of the ripple effect of kindness and foresight. The stories of these young individuals, their struggles and their triumphs, became a source of immense inspiration, reminding me that even in the face of systemic challenges, the human spirit possesses an incredible capacity for resilience and achievement. This ongoing connection to the scholarship and its beneficiaries served as a constant reminder of the profound good that can emerge from even the most painful experiences. The boundaries I had established with my family, though initially met with resistance and occasional attempts at transgression, gradually solidified into a new, albeit distant, reality. There were no grand reconciliations, no sudden epiphanies on their part. Instead, there was a quiet acceptance, a grudging acknowledgement of the new terms of our relationship. This allowed me to maintain a sense of peace and emotional safety, free from the constant threat of manipulation or renewed conflict. It was a powerful lesson in the importance of self-respect, of honoring one's own needs, even when it means making difficult choices that might disappoint others. This emotional independence, hard-won and deeply cherished, became a cornerstone of my new life, a testament to my unwavering commitment to my own well-being. As I reflect on the entirety of this journey, from the initial shock of betrayal to the quiet triumph of self-reclamation, I am struck by the profound interconnectedness of all things. Grandpa's foresight, my own resilience, the kindness of strangers, and even the painful lessons learned from my family's actions, all played a crucial role in shaping the person I have become. This story is not just about a legal battle. It is a testament to the spiritual strength that resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened in moments of crisis. It is a reminder that even when the world feels like it's crumbling around us, we possess the inner fortitude to rebuild, to redefine, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more authentically ourselves than ever before. The path ahead remains open, filled with new possibilities and the quiet promise of continued growth. There were countless moments throughout this ordeal when I felt an unseen hand guiding me, a subtle nudge in the right direction, a whisper of intuition that defied logical explanation. It was as if Grandpa's spirit, or perhaps a higher power, was orchestrating events, placing the right people and the right information in my path, precisely when I needed them most. The timing of Jake's bar admission, the notary's meticulous record-keeping, the forensic examiner's swift report, these were not mere coincidences. They felt like threads in a larger tapestry, woven with purpose and precision, designed to ensure that truth would ultimately prevail. This spiritual dimension, this sense of being watched over and supported, provided an immense source of comfort and strength during the darkest hours of my battle. This profound sense of spiritual guidance reinforced my belief that there is a divine order, a cosmic justice that operates beyond the confines of human law. While the legal system provided the framework for my victory, it was the underlying spiritual principles of truth, integrity, and love that truly triumphed. My family's actions, driven by fear and greed, were ultimately self-defeating, demonstrating the universal truth that deceit and manipulation inevitably lead to ruin. Conversely, my unwavering commitment to honesty, my respect for Grandpa's wishes, and my eventual act of generosity through the scholarship fund brought forth blessings and a profound sense of peace. It was a powerful lesson in the spiritual law of cause and effect, a testament to the enduring power of righteous action. The process of becoming an attorney, of mastering the intricacies of the law, felt like a sacred calling, a preparation for a purpose I was yet to fully understand. Looking back, I realized that every late night spent studying, every challenging exam, every moment of doubt and perseverance was a step on a predetermined path. It wasn't just about acquiring a skill, it was about honing a tool, a weapon for justice that would be wielded in defense of truth and fairness. The quiet secret of my legal education, hidden from my family, now felt like a divine strategy, a hidden strength revealed at the most opportune moment, designed to stun and disarm those who sought to exploit me. This journey, once perceived as a personal ambition, now felt imbued with a deeper, spiritual significance. My interactions with my clients, many of whom were grappling with their own versions of family betrayal and estate disputes, became a source of profound spiritual connection. I saw in their eyes the same pain, the same confusion, the same desperate hope for justice that I had once felt. To be able to offer them not just legal expertise, but also a compassionate understanding, a sense of solidarity, was incredibly rewarding. It was a way to transform my own suffering into a source of healing for others, to guide them through their darkest hours with empathy and unwavering support. This work, this act of service, became a powerful spiritual practice, a daily reminder of the interconnectedness of human experience and the enduring power of compassion. The Scholarship Fund, a beacon of hope for aspiring students, continued to be a vibrant testament to Grandpa's enduring legacy. Each year, as I reviewed applications and met the new recipients, I felt a profound sense of gratitude and spiritual fulfillment. It was a living, breathing manifestation of his belief in the transformative power of education, a way to extend his kindness and foresight far beyond his lifetime. The stories of these young individuals, their dreams and their determination, resonated deeply with my own journey, reminding me that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit possesses an incredible capacity for resilience and achievement. This ongoing connection to the scholarship and its beneficiaries served as a constant source of inspiration and spiritual renewal. As I continue to walk this path, guided by the lessons of the past and the unwavering presence of Grandpa's spirit, I am filled with a quiet confidence. The courtroom battle, the betrayal, the public scrutiny, all of it, in retrospect, served a higher purpose, stripping away the illusions and revealing the profound truths that lay beneath. This story, my story, is a testament to the fact that even when faced with the most profound challenges, when those closest to us betray our trust, we possess an innate strength, a spiritual resilience that can guide us through the darkness and into a future filled with purpose, authenticity, and an unwavering commitment to our own truth. The unseen hand of guidance, I now realize, was always there, orchestrating my journey towards a destiny far greater than I could have ever imagined. The architecture of inner peace, I discovered, is not built overnight. It is a meticulous construction, brick by painstaking brick, forged in the crucible of adversity and tempered by the fires of self-reflection. After the dust settled from the courtroom drama and the immediate pressures subsided, I embarked on a conscious journey to cultivate a lasting sense of tranquility within myself. This wasn't about forgetting the past or denying the pain. It was about integrating those experiences, understanding their lessons, and choosing to move forward with a heart unburdened by resentment. It was a spiritual discipline, a daily practice of mindfulness and gratitude, that allowed me to transform the scars of betrayal into sources of strength and wisdom. One of the most profound lessons I learned was the distinction between forgiveness as an external act and forgiveness as an internal state. While I had chosen to release myself from the grip of anger towards my family, this did not necessitate a return to the dynamics of the past. True inner peace, I realized, required firm boundaries, a sacred space where my emotional and spiritual well-being could thrive, unthreatened by their continued inability to acknowledge their wrongdoing. This was not an act of malice, but an act of self-love, a recognition that my peace was paramount. It was a spiritual affirmation that I had the right to protect my energy, to choose who I allowed into my inner circle, and to cultivate relationships built on mutual respect and genuine affection. My solo practice became a powerful conduit for this inner peace, a place where my personal experiences could be channeled into meaningful service. Each client who entrusted me with their story, their fears, their hopes, offered an opportunity for me to practice empathy, discernment, and unwavering advocacy. I approached each case not just with legal expertise, but with a deep understanding of the human heart, recognizing that behind every legal dispute lies a complex web of emotions, relationships, and often unresolved spiritual conflicts. To be able to offer guidance, to bring clarity to chaos, and to help individuals reclaim their dignity and their legacies was incredibly fulfilling, a spiritual reward that resonated deeply with my soul's purpose. The Scholarship Fund, a living testament to Grandpa's enduring vision, continued to be a source of immense joy and spiritual renewal. Witnessing the transformative power of education in the lives of the young recipients, seeing their dreams take flight because of a legacy born from foresight and love, filled me with a profound sense of gratitude. It was a constant reminder that even in the face of profound betrayal, good can indeed emerge, and that our actions, however small, can create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond our immediate grasp. This act of giving back, of transforming a painful inheritance into a source of hope and empowerment for others, was a powerful spiritual practice, reinforcing the interconnectedness of all humanity. The lingering echoes of my family's actions, though softened by time and healing, served as a constant reminder of the importance of discernment and self-preservation. While the desire for familial connection is deeply ingrained, I learned that true connection must be built on a foundation of respect, honesty, and mutual trust. Without these pillars, a relationship becomes a source of pain rather than support. This understanding, hard-won through personal experience, allowed me to navigate future relationships with greater wisdom and clarity, ensuring that I would never again compromise my own well-being for the sake of an illusion. It was a spiritual lesson in valuing my own worth, in trusting my intuition, and in cultivating relationships that genuinely uplifted and supported me. As I continue to build my life, brick by brick, guided by the lessons of the past and the unwavering presence of Grandpa's spirit, I am filled with a quiet confidence and a profound sense of purpose. The journey, fraught with pain and betrayal, ultimately led me to a deeper understanding of myself, of family, and of the quiet power that resides within each of us to stand firm in our truth. The architecture of inner peace, I now realize, is not about avoiding storms, but about learning to build a sanctuary within, a place of unwavering strength and spiritual resilience, capable of weathering any tempest that life may bring. My story is a testament to this enduring truth, an invitation to find your own inner sanctuary, no matter the external chaos. The unfolding tapestry of destiny, I've come to understand, is woven with threads of both joy and sorrow, triumph and tribulation. Each experience, no matter how painful, contributes to the richness and complexity of our individual narratives. My journey, marked by the profound betrayal of my family, was not a deviation from my path, but an integral part of it, a crucible designed to refine my spirit and reveal my true strength. It was a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is a higher purpose at play, an intricate design that guides us towards our ultimate destiny. This spiritual perspective allowed me to view my past not with regret, but with a profound sense of gratitude for the lessons learned and the person I have become. There's a beautiful, almost mystical synchronicity in how Grandpa's foresight aligned with my own hidden ambition. His meticulous planning, his unwavering belief in my potential, and his ingenious legal safeguards, all converged with my secret pursuit of a law degree. It felt as though two separate timelines, one from the past and one from the present, had been destined to intertwine at the precise moment of crisis. This confluence of events, this perfect alignment of preparation and opportunity, felt like more than mere chance. It felt like the hand of destiny, guiding me towards a purpose far greater than I could have ever imagined. It was a powerful affirmation that when we align with our true calling, the universe conspires to support us in ways both seen and unseen. My work as an attorney, particularly in the sensitive realm of estate disputes, became a profound expression of this unfolding destiny. Each client who walked through my door, grappling with their own complex family dynamics and legal challenges, presented an opportunity to apply the wisdom I had gained through my own trials. I found myself not just offering legal advice, but also a compassionate ear, a steady hand, and a deep understanding of the emotional and spiritual toll that such conflicts can exact. It was a privilege to help individuals navigate these treacherous waters, to advocate for their truth, and to ensure that their legacies were honored according to their true intentions. This work, deeply meaningful and spiritually enriching, became a cornerstone of my life's purpose, a testament to the transformative power of turning personal pain into collective good. The Scholarship Fund, a vibrant and growing testament to Grandpa's enduring spirit, continued to be a source of immense joy and spiritual fulfillment. Each year, as I met the new cohort of bright, determined students, I felt a profound connection to his vision, to his unwavering belief in the power of education to transform lives. It was a beautiful cycle of giving and receiving, a tangible manifestation of the ripple effect of kindness and foresight. The stories of these young individuals, their struggles and their triumphs, resonated deeply with my own journey. reminding me that even in the face of systemic challenges, the human spirit possesses an incredible capacity for resilience and achievement. This ongoing connection to the scholarship and its beneficiaries served as a constant source of inspiration and spiritual renewal, a living legacy that continued to unfold. The boundaries I had established with my family, though initially challenging, ultimately became a testament to my unwavering commitment to my own well-being and spiritual peace. It was a recognition that true love, as Grandpa taught me, is built on respect, and without that foundation, a relationship cannot truly thrive. Their continued inability to offer genuine remorse, to acknowledge the harm they had caused, reinforced the necessity of these boundaries, allowing me to cultivate relationships that genuinely uplifted and supported me. This emotional independence, hard-won and deeply cherished, became a cornerstone of my new life, a testament to my unwavering commitment to my own truth and my right to cultivate a life filled with authentic connection and spiritual harmony. As I gaze upon the unfolding tapestry of my destiny, I am filled with a quiet gratitude for every thread, every color, every intricate pattern that has brought me to this moment. The courtroom battle, the betrayal, the public scrutiny, all of it, in retrospect, served a higher purpose, stripping away the illusions and revealing the profound truths that lay beneath. This story, my story, is a testament to the fact that even when faced with the most profound challenges, when those closest to us betray our trust, we possess an innate strength, a spiritual resilience that can guide us through the darkness and into a future filled with purpose, authenticity, and an unwavering commitment to our own truth. The tapestry continues to unfold, revealing new patterns, new lessons, and the quiet promise of an ever-expanding journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. The enduring echo of truth I've learned resonates far beyond the confines of a courtroom or the pages of a legal document. It lives within the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the legacy we choose to build. My journey, fraught with the pain of betrayal and the triumph of justice, ultimately became a profound exploration of what it truly means to live authentically, to honor one's inner voice, and to stand firm in the face of overwhelming adversity. It was a testament to the quiet power of integrity, a reminder that even when the world conspires against us, our deepest truths possess an undeniable force that can ultimately prevail. This spiritual understanding has become the bedrock of my existence, guiding every decision and illuminating every path forward. There's a sacred trust that exists between generations, a silent promise to uphold values and protect legacies. Grandpa understood this implicitly, and his actions, his foresight, were a profound expression of that trust. My family, blinded by their own desperation and greed, violated that trust, attempting to dismantle a legacy built on love and wisdom. Yet, in their very attempt to destroy, they inadvertently became catalysts for a greater good, for a more profound manifestation of Grandpa's true intentions. This spiritual paradox, this transformation of darkness into light, is a powerful reminder that even in moments of profound human failing, a higher purpose can emerge, guiding events towards a more just and benevolent outcome. My solo law practice, now a thriving testament to my resilience and dedication, continues to be a source of immense fulfillment. Each day, I walk into my office, knowing that I have the privilege of helping others navigate the very challenges that once threatened to consume me. I offer not just legal expertise, but a compassionate understanding, a steady hand, and a deep well of empathy born from personal experience. It is a profound honor to advocate for those who feel unheard, to protect the vulnerable, and to ensure that justice, in its truest form, is served. This work, touching the lives of countless students who, like me, are striving to build a better future against challenging odds. Each success story, each graduation, each life transformed, is a testament to Grandpa's enduring vision and the ripple effect of kindness and foresight. It is a powerful reminder that even in the face of profound betrayal, good can indeed emerge, and that our actions, however small, can create waves of positive change that extend far beyond our immediate grasp. This act of giving back, of transforming a painful inheritance into a source of empowerment for others, remains a profound spiritual practice, reinforcing the interconnectedness of all humanity and the boundless potential for good. The boundaries I established with my family, though initially painful, have ultimately proven to be a profound act of self-love and spiritual preservation. They allowed me to heal, to grow, and to cultivate a life filled with authentic connection and genuine peace, free from the toxic influence of their past actions. While the yearning for a perfect family dynamic may always linger as a faint echo, I have found peace in accepting the reality of our relationship and in understanding that true love, as Grandpa taught me, is built on respect, and without that foundation, a relationship cannot truly thrive. This emotional independence, hard-won and deeply cherished, has become a cornerstone of my new life, a testament to my unwavering commitment to my own truth and my right to cultivate a life filled with spiritual harmony. As I close this chapter of my story, I am filled with a quiet gratitude for every twist and turn, every challenge and triumph that has shaped the person I am today. The courtroom battle, the betrayal, the public scrutiny, all of it, in retrospect, served a higher purpose, stripping away the illusions and revealing the profound truths that lay beneath. This story, my story, is a testament to the fact that even when faced with the most profound challenges, when those closest to us betray our trust, we possess an innate strength, a spiritual resilience that can guide us through the darkness and into a future filled with purpose, authenticity, and an unwavering commitment to our own truth. The enduring echo of truth, I now realize, is not just a sound, but a living force, a guiding light that continues to illuminate my path, and perhaps yours too.